Thank you, Mr. Chair. I take a call on behalf of New Zealand First in the Kaikoura Titai o Marokura Marine Management Bill, and it's a great pleasure that this will be the last speech I give in this session of Parliament on such a great piece of legislation. Mr. Speaker, the Te Karawai Marine Group in Kaikoura and all those involved in Te Karawai are to be highly commended for the exceptional work they did as a community in helping to bring this all together. And when we as the Local Government and Environment Committee sat on the submissions and heard them, including hearings in Kaikoura itself, it was most impressive to see how that community had come together across so many different entities and groups, including Ngāi Tahu and local iwi and hapu, including the Cray fishermen, the Pawa divers, the many involved in the tourist industries there, many involved from the community, including forest and bird and other environmental groups, so many organisations who came together collegially to come up with this and then taking it through the necessary legislative processes with our various ministries to get it to this point. I would like to acknowledge the excellent work that's been undertaken by the officials from so many of the different departments involved, from DOC, from Ministry of Primary Industries, fisheries people, our Parliamentary Council and others I haven't mentioned but who know who they are, who did a huge amount of work on this to bring this all together so well. And we certainly enjoyed working on this bill. I think this was one of the most enjoyable pieces of legislation that the Local Government Environment Committee worked on in the 3 years of this term, because we knew that it was such a great outcome. And I'd like to acknowledge the Minister, Nick Smith, as well for his work with this and his commitment to marine reserves. And Minister Smith, I know how committed you have been to so many marine reserves, and we also sat on the subantarctic marine reserves, again, which was a magnificent outcome for those outlying islands, as we did on the Akaroa Marine Reserve and others. And again, it is something that we as all New Zealanders can be proud of, because at the end of the day we are the guardians of our marine estate. The marine reserve depends on humans to ensure that we take care of it, and we are guardians of that incredible resource that we have out there. And in that respect, every one of these marine reserves just adds to the special nature of New Zealand and our geographic position in the world, our isolation as an island in the South Pacific, but the fact that we do recognise the need to ensure that these marine reserves are put in place to protect the environment for future generations. Mr. Chair, it was interesting to learn some of the aspects of this bill and to go to the likes of the fur seal colony and see how that beautiful coastline there in Kaikoura exists, and to see, and for people of New Zealand to be able to see those fur seals so close to the main highway, so close to the railway line, to be all there basking in the sun and lying around on the rocks and scratching themselves and having a jolly good old time and jumping off into the water and doing all right in front of people is just extraordinary to be able to see. And any New Zealander who hasn't had the opportunity to do that, if you are able to go down the Kaikoura coast, it certainly is well worth doing. As was the visit to the small area where the creche for the pups, the calves as they're known, seal calves, it was amazing to see them in the pools of water there, and the select committee went up to the pools of water and watched 50 or 60 of these young seals frolicking in the water. They stay there during the day. Apparently they go back to see mum and dad at night time. They get a bit of a feed, bit of kai back from mum and dad, and then the next day they go back up to the pools and have another play around. So it was marvellous to see that and to see how they were in a natural environment, and that all this area will be protected as a result is excellent. Mr. Chair, in terms of the whale sanctuary and the canyon off the Kaikoura coast, this is a very significant canyon, a very deep canyon, and one which is quite unique, which has significant food resources for the whales and one of the reasons why they have taken such a long habitat, Mr. Chair,
Andrew Williams.
such a long-standing habitat there is such a special place for the whales to exist. And as a result, it is wonderful that Ngāi Tahu, with their whale watching tourism venture, were able to put in place the necessary infrastructure to allow people to go out and see the whale watching there and to see these majestic animals in their natural habitat. And again, that's wonderful, and the fact that this whale sanctuary will ensure that that is preserved and protected, and that New Zealanders and international tourists can take benefit from it is marvellous. Mr. Chair, it was interesting when we heard about some of the more technical areas of this and looking at the maps and looking at how it was all clearly defined with the borders and boundaries of the different sanctuaries involved here, that we were down to debating decimal places, and it was interesting, the whole debate about whether it should be to 2 or 3 decimal places, and to be told initially that the system only works to 2 decimal places. That's how it is, and as we all know, in this modern generation, computers can go out to as many decimal places as you like. And where we thought, well, for the benefit of the environment, and the Local Government Committee and Environment Committee said, for the benefit of the environment, we have to go to whatever decimal places is required to ensure that the proper protections are put in place for these marine sanctuaries. And it was very pleasing to see that MPI and the officials doc recognised the fact that 3 decimal places would ensure greater certainty over that. And that was a great thing. We hope it applies elsewhere in New Zealand in future as well. That would be a good thing. In closing, Mr. Chair, can I just say I've enjoyed my 3 years on the Local Government Environment Committee. It's been a very interesting committee. We've had a huge amount of workload. It is a very busy committee because if you can imagine both the local government side of things plus all the environment side of things, you know, it's almost like it should almost be 2 committees because the amount of work covers such a huge area that we have literally worked very hard, and I commend all the members who, not only the present members, but members who have been on during these 3 years of this term. Everyone has contributed well. We've had some very good outcomes. We have looked at submissions from the public from all over New Zealand on so many different subjects, and as a result, wherever possible, we have ensured that best outcomes have come as a result of that. We don't always agree with the outcomes, and New Zealand First has raised concerns in some areas, but at the end of the day, democracy is upheld, and we are a better place for the fact that we have a system of select committees which gives a thorough scrutiny to all these areas. So, Mr. Chair, in closing, I commend the Kaikoura Titai o Marokura Marine Management Bill to the House, and New Zealand First is very proud to be part of this process.
Kelvin Davis.
Tēnā koe, Mr.